Always great to have Ian Castleberry playing with us to talk some NFL Gold Nuggets, and we've got a lot to get to today, courtesy of David Creasman and DC Creasman Jewelers. Ian, hope you're doing well on this Thursday afternoon. Nice day out there.
Yeah, doing very well. How about you guys?
Good. Mike, we're going to lead off with Ian some terrible news relationship-wise. It is true, A-Rod and J-Lo are no longer together, which is why, Ian, you think A-Rod's going onto these ownership runs all by himself?
Yeah, I think he needs a new hobby. First of all, I want to apologize to the Wise Guys listeners, because on Monday I said, going with information I had, that Alex Rodriguez and Jennifer Lopez were, in fact, still together. And official, I think they went on the Today Show to announce they were no longer together this morning, which, really? I'm glad. Clearly I shouldn't have slept in. I mean, I had my phone, my inbox was blowing up with this news. But, I think A-Rod needs something else to do now that he's not Mr. J-Lo.
Boy, no kidding.
He's going to be an NBA owner.
You know what he's saying at the end, Mike? He's like, I'll show you. I'll own my own team.
Just amazing. The guy cheated. He's part of the steroid controversy, but now he's going to buy an NBA team. That just ain't life grand. Isn't America something else? What did Don King used to say? Only in America?
Yeah, Don King nailed it. All right, Mike Gore. Wow, this is going to be a tough segue now. You nailed it. All right, let's head to the NFL headlines, guys. And of course, Ian, suddenly it's cool to play for the Browns. Yeah, the team grabbing free agent defensive lineman Jadeveon Clowney on a one-year deal worth up to $10 million with incentives. I think the base pay is $8 million. And Ian, Clowney opposite Myles Garrett. Wow, on that D-line. Where does this put the Browns now in terms of a very tough AFC North division?
Yeah, the Browns are in that nice position to be in if you're a playoff contender, right on the cusp of making that push, maybe, to a conference finalist or even Super Bowl, and free agents willing to sign for them, maybe even for a little bit less than they might get from other teams on the open market. But, yeah, you mentioned Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney. Clowney was at his best when he played opposite J.J. Watt in Houston, so he certainly doesn't have pressure to be the top pass rusher for a team. And frankly, his production over the past few years says that he's not that sort of player anyway. But if Myles Garrett is attracting the majority of blocking attention, then that frees Clowney up to go to the quarterback. But it's not just Garrett and Clowney. This Browns defensive line is loaded. They have Sheldon Richardson now and Malik Jackson in the middle. They got Takaris McKinley, formerly of the Falcons. So, you can rotate guys in and out at the tackle and end positions. Suddenly that Browns defensive line looks extremely formidable.
Absolutely. And of course, Mike, this is like what's happening now. It's like it used to be you had to ask for double the pay to play in Cleveland. Now people are taking pay cuts. Just goes to show that quick culture shift under Coach Stefanski.
Winning solves a lot of problems, doesn't it?
Does it
Winning
not?
Solves a lot of problems.
Suddenly Jadeveon Clowney's interested in signing with you.
And that's not a Clowney question either.
No, bro. By the way, Ian, do the Patriots make a move to trade up for Justin Fields? It looks like he may be the only quarterback left hanging out in, maybe by the 8 or 9 slot.
They could be. I know Mel Kiper, ESPN, kind of raised some eyebrows this week when he released a new mock draft that had the Patriots trading up. Right now they have the number 15 selection in the first round, and Justin Fields most likely will be gone by then. So Kiper had the Patriots trading up to number 10 in Dallas's spot to get Justin Fields. Now, I mean, to say that a team is going to trade up, what do the Patriots have to give up? I'm almost certainly they're going to have to give up their first-round pick next year. I would think any discussions start there. I wonder if 10 is far up enough for the Patriots to get Fields. I mean, because after you have the Lions, the Panthers, and the Broncos. Now, you could look at the Lions and Panthers and say they're most likely not going to draft a quarterback. But they could, and they're certainly going to make everybody else think that they might draft Justin Fields or draft a quarterback, hoping to entice teams to trade up to that spot. But I would circle Denver at number 9. Is Denver going to pass on Justin Fields if he's available? Are they really confident in Drew Lock? Should they be confident in Drew Lock? If Trevor Lawrence, of course, will be gone, Zach Wilson most likely, Trey Lance from North Dakota State, that's the question. Does he sneak past Atlanta at number 4? or is he going to the Lions or the Panthers? I think the Patriots are certainly interested, but is it worth giving up a first-round pick, or do you say, okay, maybe Kyle Trask or Kellen Mond later, either at number 15 or if the Patriots look at trading down, if they think they can get by with either of those two at quarterback?
How do you think this plays out, Michael? As a Bills fan, the arch enemy, do you think because that's a good point with Drew Lock in Denver. I don't think Drew Lock's their guy. He's kind of like the Broncos' Teddy Bridgewater.
Well, they've got to do something. You've got to have a good quarterback, and obviously, whatever you can do to get him, to get who you want. Just need to, Denver's been struggling without Peyton Manning. Let's face it, they lucked out that when that Super Bowl, Peyton Manning wasn't Peyton Manning, and they've been trying to find it ever since. And the Patriots, I don't think Cam Newton's their answer, so they've got to get a quarterback. So you just, it's take it from someone who spent 17 years watching his team not go to the playoffs, the Bills. And I can give you a list. I can give you a roll call of marginal quarterbacks. You got to find the one you want, and then luckily for Buffalo, they let Josh Allen develop, get a little better each year till the season he had last year, and that's where you got to go.
Joining us on the DC Creasman Jewelers Wise Lines is our buddy Ian Castleberry for NFL Gold Nuggets feature. By the way, read Ian's work at thecomeback.com, awfulannouncing.com as well. Follow both on Facebook. And remember the podcasts as well. You can pick those up anywhere you get your normal podcasts. And, of course, Ian's appearance presented by David Creasman and DC Creasman Jewelers. Despite trading for Sam Darnold, Matt Rule said everything's on the table, Ian. All right, with the upcoming draft. Okay, so that could be a smokescreen for all we know. Keep everyone away. But what are the chances that Carolina, who attended Field's second pro day yesterday, pulls the trigger on him if he's available?
Yeah, first of all, Matt Rule is going to make everybody think that anything is possible. Sure, we could take a quarterback, again, to entice. Maybe they want Denver to move up to that 8th spot, or the Patriots if they're really serious about Justin Fields, or anybody else who might want Justin Fields to move up to that number 8 spot. It seems like the Panthers are investing in Sam Darnold. They picked up his option for 2022. They'll have him for 2 years. Now, I know Sam Darnold isn't a definite, what if he's a bust and they had a chance to draft Justin Fields. But I think you have to look at the overall roster and say, okay, they have Sam Darnold. They may still have Teddy Bridgewater, but they'll probably deal him. What is the best thing for the team? Of course, if you're saying best player available and Justin Fields is there at 8, maybe the Panthers just have to take him because he's there. But is it better for the team, to draft an offensive lineman if Penny Sewell is there, Rashawn Slater, any of the impact wide receivers? What if Matt Rule decides to bolster that defense even further with somebody like Micah Parsons from Penn State? Now, they should trade down from number 8, to get a defensive player, but if Justin Fields is there at number 8, if we'd been talking about this a month ago, there was a report from The Athletic that Matt Rule and David Tepper absolutely loved Justin Fields and wanted to move up to get him. Some people think they couldn't move up, and that's why they got Sam Darnold. But in the meantime, Matt Rule is sure going to let everybody else think that he could draft Justin Fields if he's there.
Yeah, which way do you think they should go? I mean, you got Darnold now, so and that's what everyone's wondering. Like, well, why go after a quarterback if you've committed to Sam Darnold? Offensive lineman Mel Kiper's now got Jalen Waddle from Alabama. Is it Waddle or his teammate, the Heisman Trophy winner? I get those two boys confused, but they're both really good. But he's got a wide receiver for the Panthers at 8. That makes little sense when you need an offensive lineman in a big way, Michael.
You got to protect your quarterback. Obviously the investments. They think Sam Darnold's the man, and I think that's a good situation for him. The report is just incomplete with the Jets. The poor guy was in a tough situation with the Jets. He had mono at one time or something. So he had some weird things happen to him. There's a reason why he was picked very high. So I think he's got some skills, but you got to protect him. Football games, we can talk about this play, but it all boils down to the end. I'm sure you agree with the offense and your defensive line. Who controls the line of scrimmage? That's how you win games. It's really simple.
Yeah, it's not sexy, but the Lions are right there ahead of the Panthers. They do need a receiver. Maybe they could take a quarterback, but if Penny Sewell is there, I want the Lions to take him at number 7. And then you have a right tackle or eventually a left tackle for, maybe the next 10, 12 years.
Yeah, man. And yeah, true that. And I'll tell you something as well. On top of that, Kuiper and look, he's going. If you get another wide receiver with the Panthers at the number 1 pick, they're going to be unstoppable offensively. Well, not if their quarterback's running for his life because there's no offensive line help there. I was wondering maybe if it was bourbon night down at the Kuiper Man Cave when he was making his mock draft 3.0, but that was a bit of an eye-opener to me as well. Ian Castleberry on the D.C. Creasman Jewelers Wise Lines and our NFL Gold Nuggets feature presented by D.C. and his staff. Of course, 269 Tunnel Road, your one-stop jewelry shop. All right, guys, players from the Broncos, Seahawks, and Tampa Bay, damn Brady, say they won't participate in off-season voluntary workouts, citing COVID concerns. Cool, it's kind of like, well, that's not a bad thing to get behind there, right, guys? Well, Ian, could we see dominoes fall on this as more teams come on board?
Yeah, I think you could. Certainly, we have 4 or 5 teams saying that they're going to skip these off-season workouts, which are voluntary, quote-unquote voluntary. Although if players don't show up for that, I'm sure that, that's a check mark against them with coaches. And there's some players who have bonuses for going to these workouts. For instance, Von Miller of the Broncos, he gets a $500,000 bonus for going to these workouts. So he's probably not thrilled that the Broncos are suddenly skipping these workouts due to COVID concerns. But is the NFL being a little bit cavalier, saying, no masks are going to be necessary, they're not going to have tests? They're assuming everybody's going to be vaccinated. I think it is going to depend on the numbers are going up in Denver. The Lions are opting out. The numbers are terrible in Michigan right now. So I think that's certainly going to be a factor in whether or not teams are going to skip these off-season workout. Not to be entirely skeptical, because I think these are legitimate concerns, but I think if you give NFL players a chance to skip these workouts, they will.
Oh, absolutely on that, Mike.
And life will go on. And it's not going to be.
Well, these guys work out like year-round pretty much in the off-season.
It's not like in the 60s when you came to training camp to get in shape. No, this is a year-round commitment. And I'm sure there's a little time off after the season, but I'm sure that there is a diet. They watch their diet, and it is a full-time commitment. Now, they have my niece actually is a chef in Charlotte, and actually, she's an excellent cook, and she's had NFL players hire her during the season just to cook for them. So,
oh, wow.
Meals, certain kind of meals keep them, either gain weight or lose weight or whatever. So that's this is serious business, needless to say.
Yeah, for sure. And Goodell's, a couple of weeks ago, he said he fully expects a full capacity in NFL stadiums around the league by September. Yeah, last time I checked, by the way, Goodell was an attorney who became an NFL commissioner. I'm getting tired of these guys saying, we expect this, we expect that. You just expect the money to roll in, as always, Goodell. I'm getting kind of burned on this. I mean, I'm getting tired of this. We're going to be ready to go by this time because guess what, guys? We never seem to be ready to go because we're still kind of handling this pandemic kind of half-assed, if you will. And what it is, half the country's kind of doing their thing. The other half is listening to, the experts. But, when Goodell said that, it's like, why do that? Why lay that out there? Now there's that expectation that it's going to happen. I thought that was, I don't want to say reckless, but maybe it was. I just thought that was kind of uncalled for. But, these guys are trying to hype the upcoming season. Oy vey. All right, we move on, guys. One more, and of course, we can't have Mike Gore in here without having a Bills takeover question. So, Ian, what players is Buffalo's brass paying attention to with the 30th pick overall?
Well, from what I understand, of course, I want to hear from Mike on this, but it sounds like cornerback and running back are the two positions that the Bills are really circling there at number 30. So that's third to last in the first round. Personally, I think the lack of a running game really hurt the Bills last season. If somebody like Clemson's Travis Etienne or Alabama's Najee Harris is there, can you really pass that up? Although, there should be some excellent cornerbacks at number 30 as well.
Well, they're also looking, I think, for an edge rusher as well, a good pass rusher as well. I think they feel like that they got to get a little more heat on the quarterback as well. Now, whether there'll be anybody down there for them or not, but obviously those two things. I think they feel like Devin Singletary kind of slipped a little bit this year, and Zach Moss did okay, but he did get hurt in the playoff game in Indianapolis, and then didn't play the rest of the playoffs. But yes, it's pretty amazing that they went 13-3 with the lack of a running game. I mean, it really just shows you how great Josh Allen was. But yeah, and I think with the way people throw the ball now too, especially when you're in a, the Bills are going to have to face Tom Brady this year in Tampa. They're going to have to face Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City in a regular season game. So you got to be able to cover the pass. Needless to say, they've got some good one in Tre'Davious White and some others there, but you can never have enough of those players.
That's why we ask the questions. Ian Castleberry, as always, bringing it. Thank you so much, Ian. We appreciate you, my friend. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. And it's Jackie Robinson Day in Major League Baseball as well, and I'm sure you're recognizing that as well, and maybe we can talk more about that on Monday's show.
Sure, yeah, I was going to say happy Jackie Robinson Day, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week.
Thanks, you too, buddy. Always appreciate it, Ian. Great stuff.
Take care, guys.
You got it, buddy. Ian Castleberry with the Wise Guys. And Ian's appearance talking NFL Gold Nuggets presented by David Creasman and DC Creasman Jewelers.